Okay. This time, I'm on the left side.
And we know you usually like being on top, don't you?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Hey everyone, so we are here for the second match. We've got Jarvis you on lands going up against Anuraag Das on, what are we calling it? Not Miracles, because that's what it is.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. It's a spicy control build without the countertop.
Yeah, like from what I've seen, like I've looked at the deck list and I see almost no chance of Anuraag actually winning the first game. Like it's gonna be really hard for him. He's got no way to close out the game quickly. Like his best chance is chase, and since he doesn't have counterbalance, he can't really stop Jarvis' engine of punishing fire. So just punishing fire alone is gonna be a real beating for him. And he's also not even playing Wastelands, so I would almost go as far as to say that there's like less than, I don't know, like mana screw aside, less than 10% chances of Jarvis actually taking this, but Anuraag actually taking this. So, what do you think?
Yeah, but I agree, Julian. But nonetheless, I think it's gonna be a long game, and both players have to like play it out with the. He can lock him down with the Jace, but I just think that miracles or non-miracles they suffer against
this kind of deck. Yeah.
Like
counterbalance actually did a lot for you, and now like if you want to go for the long game, that's gonna be tough. He also doesn't have Entreat the Angels, as far as I know, which makes it even harder for him. Like he's got, I think, 2 Stoneforge Mythics and 4 Snapcaster Mages. And I guess technically, if Jarvis gets a really bad draw, and Anuraag might even be able to just like counter a couple of critical life from the Loams. Like it feels counterintuitive, but when you're losing the long game that hard, you gotta make a couple of tempo plays like that. So that's one of the ways I can see him taking this.
Yeah. We're just watching the chat between the two players, and someone saying, "Please don't murder Anuraag too much." It's brutal.
Is anyone in the chat who actually thinks that Anuraag will take the first game, who's not related or paid by Anuraag?
I'm gonna put in let's see. I'm gonna vote for Anuraag here.
Oh, Team Anuraag? I'm on Team Jarvis.
I have been looking forward to casting these this game 2 and game 3.
Yeah, I think those are the most interesting parts of the match.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I think like there's a tier 0 interesting thing is that Anuraag actually chose this deck in the beginning, and then it's the game 2 and game 3.
Yeah.
But enough beating at Anuraag, and let's see if we can start the game here. So
can
both players have
hands?
Yes,
and
okay. Both players have what's a pretty like decent generic hand that I guess Jarvis could have like an exploration or some nice things to actually get going, but he has like Wastelands or Resort Imports, so it seems pretty decent.
Like,
and Anuraag has the card in name, Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, which is probably gonna be one of the most important cards as long as Jarvis can't find Punishing Fire. Yes. Just looking at this hand, I actually like Anuraag's hand a lot more because Jarvis, while he gets to lock down Anuraag with 2 Roshaden Ports for a while, which probably might give him enough time to draw something he needs, like Punishing Fire or maybe even a Loam. Yeah. Or as you mentioned, if you find Loam, you also want Exploration. Yeah. And on Anuraag's side, he's actually protected against a quick Marek large kill because he has the Swords to Plowshares, which is otherwise not very good in the matchup, but having it here gives you some kind of insurance. So I don't hate Anuraag's position, so let's see what Jarvis is going to draw. Actually, if you think about it, like if Jarvis gets all 3 Maze of It into play, it's gonna be really hard for Anuraag to win the game if he doesn't have Chase, which he fortunately does have.
That's true. Yeah. The fun thing here is that in the matchup, the life gain doesn't really matter. So Sword to Plowshares is basically just like we're talking about that Anuraag is probably not going to win through like beating Jarvis down to 0. So the live game will eventually not matter if he's going to win with Jace. So Triple is just a straight up removal to the Merit Lodge.
Yeah, so pretty much. And from how careful Jarvis has played this deck in the past, he probably wouldn't go for an unnecessary Merit Large token right into Swords to Plowshares. But on the other hand, the way this presents itself, he might eventually just do that because he also can't interact with Anuraag. Maybe he's going to set it up in a way that he's going to tap all the white sources at Anuraag's end of turn and then try to go for it, but that requires a lot of mana.
Yeah. So Jarvis here is drawing pretty unfortunate, and the 10% that you're talking about before, Julian, I'm not saying that we're there yet, but this is like a way that Anuraag can steal game 1 against Jarvis.
Yeah, very true. I mean, Jarvis has a lot of life draws. He can draw any Punishing Fire, any Gamble, which would be great for him. Yeah. I guess a Cycle Land also gets him closer. If he finds a Cycle Land and a Loam, that's pretty good. But once he starts doing that, he stops using both ports, and that's where it gets dangerous, because eventually Anuraag will just have enough mana through the ports to cast Chase the Mind Sculptor. And if he doesn't have Punishing Fire by then, it's going to be hard to find it once Chase starts ticking up.
Yeah. And just to Dokumoy, I can see that you're asking if Jarvis plays Punishing Fire. As we can see, there's a grove of Burn Willows, and he definitely plays Punishing Fire in his deck. It's one of the better interactions in this deck.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know. Like, it's one of the interactions. Like, all the interactions are kind of cool and nice.
You've seen versions in the past that used Molten Vortex or even Seismic Assault, but Jarvis is playing a super straightforward version of this deck. I think he's not even playing any cute things. Like, one of the cute things he has that not everyone has is Barbarian Ring, which could matter because, well, basically you can't counter Barbarian Ring, and I've seen won games that way, but you still have to resolve your life from the Loam first, since he doesn't have Crucible of Worlds, which would be like really cute.
Exactly. So he actually drew the gamble here, and Anuraag had to go for a non-basic land for the Wasteland that Jarvis had slow rolled. So this is pretty good for Jarvis. So now the machine is kind of rolling here, getting to tap the sources. Next turn, getting life from the Loam, and Anuraag only being able to attack for 2.
Yeah, but overall, like, he still needs to find Punishing Fire, because I think if he's basically drawing 3 cards a turn, I guess, because even if Loam doesn't resolve, he still gets to dredge and eventually finds Punishing Fire. So Anuraag would need to hit like an insane amount of hard counters in a row to keep his chase alive.
And he actually, you were talking about the what's it called? The Cycle Land before, and he actually already has it in the graveyard. He cycled it on turn 2, the Sheltering Market.
Oh yeah, that's the new one, right?
Yes.
Right.
We got to submit cards from Amonkhet, even though it's a couple of weeks ago that we submitted the deck lists. But Jarvis put in the Sheltering Thicket. Is it called Sheltered Thicket?
Sheltered Thicket, yeah. It's the dual land that also is cycling, I believe.
Yes.
Which is kind of cool for the deck, because even though it's like the land stack, it very often actually has mana issues, and they come up way more often than you think. I recently went to the thread on the source, and they were complaining about exactly that. So having a cycle land that's actually also a dual land at least helps somewhat with that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But they also went down from 42 lands to 37 to 35 lands. So eventually you will get into mana trouble.
Yeah, the greed is going to get the best of them.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Anuraag, he's like pseudo-mulliganing here by drawing 3 Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, at least he has the Brainstorm on a fetch land, but yeah, he'd probably rather draw additional lands.
Yeah. But this turn, the Brainstorm will definitely get rid of the 2 of those cards and see if he can get some action. And there's a sweet like Wasteland Loam luck, so Anuraag can only fetch non-basics, and when he gets non-basics, he's just gonna get return import.
Yeah, interesting. Jarvis, I think, is not playing Ghost Quarter, so the basics are actually gonna stay on the field.
Yeah.
And let me check the basic count on Anuraag's side. Anuraag has 4 islands, 1 mountain, and 2 plains. So assuming that 2 basic lands will get ported every turn, he can get to chase as long as Jarvis doesn't find the full 4 ports. I guess you can also still get there if you like put a couple of fetch lands into play that would also need to be ported, but that's already pretty deep. Okay, and now, well, I guess he gets better Skull, but Jarvis already has the Maze of Ith in the graveyard that he can go and get.
Yeah, but the thing is here, like having the Thespian stage, Jarvis will eventually have enough restarting ports if the game goes into like turn 19 or whatever. He can have like the 4, the 5, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and also the 8th restarting port for Anuraag's.
True.
Or basics, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be like really sweet. Like I not that I don't want Anuraag to have a chance in this match, but like seeing that would be like really sweet.
Yeah,
like the complete strategic superiority playing out.
Yeah, we both played against the Root Maze guy the other day on Magic Online.
Too?
Yes, I played all my lands in my deck.
You did.
We can talk about that. Yeah, we can talk about it in the sideboard. Let's see if Anuraag actually has a chance here. So Jarvis got the Tabernacle, which taxes Anuraag even further down the...
Yeah. Like, in the worst possible scenario, Jarvis can just, like, gain 20 life every other turn. If he wants to. As long as Chase doesn't reserve, I guess.
Yeah. People in the chat, I can see Eve Landon is saying this is kind of fun. Seeing like a person get completely annihilated. It is fun though. Like,
yeah, like it's always been that way. Like when 42 lands was a thing, like on even the more controlish lands back in 2010, 11, like all these Dawnforge decks, they usually used to be pretty good matchups because what they were doing didn't really interest you a lot, and it was like quite tempo intensive, like getting the Dawnforge on the second turn, activated on the third turn, and then getting a better Skull. That's pretty much what the game you want to play with lands. It's like, you take 3 turns to attack me with a 4/4, whatever.
Yeah, I used to play lands back at GP Brussels. I played it at a side event. That was my first like major tournament with in Legacy, and it was better positioned back then than it is now. But I don't know, like it was pre-Deathrat Shaman, but I don't know how good it actually is in the current meta game. I guess we will see when more tournaments get published, or when you get your complete analysis of the Frankfurt up on It's Julian.
Oh, I already have that.
Oh.
If you go there, yeah. But there weren't a lot of matches for red-green lands, so it wasn't really worth looking at red-green lands altogether. So,
okay.
But like judging just by the thing that Jarvis is playing it again, I would lean towards it being good in the meta game again because he's really good with it. So he stopped playing it and then switched to Miracles, but now he's back on lands, and I wouldn't be surprised to also see him play the stack at GP Vegas.
Okay. It's going to be interesting to see. Like, there will be a lot of data from that that tournament.
Yeah.
So let's see. Anuraag.
You're also going to Vegas, right? I just heard that earlier. Yeah, that's amazing. So like almost everyone's going to be there. Is Thomas also going? Anna Bolton?
Yes. Me and Thomas are going there, and we're gonna coach Shahar Shenhar into playing Death Texas.
Last time you did that worked out pretty well for him and for me.
Yes.
So Anuraag is assembling a team of 2/1s and 1/2s and a bunch of cards. Like Jarvis is down to 12, but yeah. What do you think about Anuraag's chances of just brute forcing his way into the game?
Well, I guess it's his only like option at this point. He's gonna hit Jarvis down to 7, and then Jarvis is probably gonna play. Yeah, I don't even know. Like he has kind of a lot of draws because Anuraag has to like keep all his creatures alive. So I don't think he's gonna tap more than necessary here. He's gonna fetch the land. So what he needs is simply just an exploration or mana bond if he plays that one.
Yeah, there's already 2 explorations in the graveyard. which has always been like when I played the deck, that was the only thing that annoyed me because you couldn't really get additional copies of that. But once people went back to straight red green lands where you had gamble, you had better chances of like establishing exploration. And he also already has punching fire, so really, if he gets an exploration going, this game should be over. Well, probably not quickly, but technically over. Like you might actually just see Anuraag tap out. Preordain is probably not going to help him a lot here. Like, I was about to say, like, which card is he looking for? And I can't even think of a card that he would be looking for.
I actually think that he's looking for a Force of Will here.
Yeah.
So let's see if he keeps the Force of Will, because I think next turn Jarvis has to play his Grove if he draws a blank, and if he plays a Grove, he has to like snipe the creature so that he doesn't go down to 2. Mm-hmm. So I think Anuraag is gonna like try and Force of Will the Punishing Fire, get him down to 2, and then hopefully he'll draw like a hard counter for the next Punishing Fire.
That's a good point. Like we know, he probably put the Chase to the bottom then.
Yes, I would believe so. Oh,
but he also would need Brainstorm, I guess, because he still needs like another blue pitch card, unless Jarvis doesn't use his ports on his next turn.
What was? It's because he gains life. Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of nice of Jarvis. I didn't even like see this. See this one. This is why he's a master at playing lands. He took 2 additional damage so that Anuraag would like Anuraag will gain life so that he could get back the Punishing Fire now and kill 1 creature so that he doesn't die next turn to a Force of Will.
That's really cool.
He wouldn't die regardless to a Force of Will, but he will like only go down to 2, and then he'll have like an additional turn through a Force of Will. It's very, very nice play of Jarvis here.
Yeah, it makes his mana management so much easier for him.
Yes.
And now he hits a Wasteland, I think. Yeah, we're already in his draw step. Oh, the crop rotation. What's crop rotation doing for him here? Like, technically, he could get Glacial Chasm if he really needed to, but I don't think he's in a position like that.
I think he's gonna play the Grove here. No? Maybe he's gonna cycle. Like, this is interesting what he's gonna do. I think he will play the Grove of Burnwells here. Because he needs to kill one of the creatures.
I guess he could also make like the 20/20, and then if he can prevent Chase from coming down, that would give him 20 life to work with. Or like a giant blocker. But like he probably would like both of those. But it's also like it feels a bit risky because you don't really need to go for that. So what's he doing? He's actually just cycling.
Yeah. Okay, that was a pretty good draw. Even though it might seem kind of useless, Jarvis is really in the need of resources here. So because he didn't draw anything specific, he's going to play the Grove of Burnwells and just pass the turn. And he's probably going to port Anuraag. Let's see. He has the Tabernacle, so he has to pay 3, and then he's going to port 1, so he can't play Jace.
Yeah.
Probably. Like.
And then I think they're gonna... Can you move up the graveyard a bit because we can't see all of Jarvis' lands? Okay. So.
Yeah, so he's gonna see if he can kill the Snapcaster Mage here. And Anuraag kind of.
He's doing it in the upkeep. So to not play around Counterspell, but if he has Counterspell, it makes it harder for him. But I think he has the Force of Will.
Yeah. So Anuraag knows that Jarvis is probably going to do this, so he's going to force it, and Jarvis knows that if he didn't draw the Counterspell last turn, he would probably draw it this turn, or he could draw it this turn, so he's going to do it in the upkeep, so it's either Force or the 1 Counterspell. So I really like the play here, and let's see what he's going to do, what he's going to get. Either Glacial Chasm or
he can just make the
Mace of Ith again if he plays 2.
Yeah. He can also just like take 3, go to 2, but he can't make the token yet.
I'll not be surprised if he gets Chasm or Mace of Ith. Yeah, so he gets Mace of Ith here.
Mace of Ith. That's probably better, yeah.
It's just playing safe because at this point he's gonna go to 4, and Jarvis is really gonna, or Anuraag is really gonna have a hard time dealing the last amount of damage with active growth of the Venuelos. A 2 for actually it's 2 because he's gonna play it next turn and see if he can finish him off.
Yeah. Mike is mentioning Thunderous Wrath off the top. Like the one off randomly, that would be amazing. But yeah. Jarvis is apparently thinking about dredging the loam here, but yeah, he naturally draws another Punishing Fire. So at this point, yeah, he's still going for total control. He's not like playing Thespian stage, but he wants to have total control. And it makes sense because deck lists are known, and he knows that Anuraag really is going to have a hard time like coming back from this. Like, I'm not even sure, like, if you give Anuraag the best possible draw on each turn from now on, whether he could still win this.
No,
like, he could draw a single counterspell every turn, but Jarvis has 2 Grove of the Burn Willows, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even think that, like, this game, I like the effort that Anuraag is playing it out because there is, like, a potential chance that he can win the game. But I think it's so minor.
Yeah.
He's going to kill the Snapcaster, then he's going to double port his 2 islands. And then he's just going to double Mace of Ith. Next turn, play Thespian stage, say go. Play Dark Depth, say go, and then eventually win the game.
Yeah. I mean, he'll probably like. But does he even take the Swords of Plowshares? Like, if Jarvis really wants to, he could port the 2 islands. But yeah, okay. So yeah, Anuraag just concedes. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it seems like he got to the same conclusion that we did. That if Jarvis does this, it will be like almost impossible.
So what does Anuraag have for the matchup? Like, the most important card is probably going to be Surgical Extraction, of which he has 3 copies. And he's also moving the Disenchant over there. So he understands that one of the problems is that something like Exploration allows Jarvis to really run away with the game. So that's one of the cards he wants to take out. I can't see Jarvis sideboard right now, but maybe there's also something he wants to disenchant that Jarvis could bring in.
Yeah, so Jarvis is taking out, let's see what he's taking out here.
He's taking out Tabernacle, a Mace, a Caracas, or he probably didn't even have Caracas, I don't know, a Glacial Chasm. Yeah, like, we know that Mace is okay against Anuraag, and he actually really wanted the second copy in the match we just saw. But generally speaking, I think he can do with 2 Maces. He doesn't really need a third Mace, especially since it's also guaranteed to stay on the board. There's no, like, Blood Moon or Wasteland in Anuraag's sideboard.
So it seems like Jarvis is going the more control-less route, or at least he has a sideboard plan that accepts his loam to get removed from the game. So he's supporting in trackers, pithing needles, to see if he can like get advantage through the trackers if they get on the board. So we have both players here. Anuraag has a pretty decent hand with Brainstorm, Jace, Surgical, and additional Jace, Engineered, and Scalding Tarn and Plains. Whereas
it might actually not be good enough.
No, because Jarvis actually has like he's unfortunate that he has like triple Dark Depths, but he has an Exploration in his opener, which Anuraag cannot deal with. So
yeah, Anuraag is looking to draw Swords of Plowshares of the Brainstorm. Like, he doesn't know yet, but he will need that card pretty soon.
Yes. So let's see if he's gonna play the Mox Diamond here or. Yes, and then this is one of the more, like, that's why it was called like combo lands in the beginning before it was just red-green lands. Because if he played the Mox Diamond here, he doesn't have to do it this turn, but if he had like double Mox Diamond, it would actually be a potential turn 3 kill for Jarvis's.
Yeah, and if he would have been able to play turn 1 Exploration, he would definitely have that. He doesn't even need the Mox for that. And that's like one of the big advantages of the deck. You sometimes actually get to steal matches, and that's something you can't probably appreciate too much in Legacy, because matchups can be quite swingy, and even if you get a bad matchup, and like this isn't a bad matchup, but say you're playing against Storm and you don't have a good sideboard against it, you can still sometimes just take the game on turn 3, and that's really cool for him.
Yeah.
Oh, he can even, well, he doesn't even need to name Chase because he can make the token at end of turn. I'm surprised.
This is kind of the fun thing, because Jarvis doesn't know that Anuraag has the surgical. So if he sacrifices the Dark Depths and Anuraag just goes like crazy and surgicals like the Dark Depths, he's gonna completely wreck Jarvis's hand here.
Oh, that's true. Like, Jarvis doesn't know that there's no Swords to Plowshares. And when I watched Jarvis at the GP in Seattle, he played very carefully around that. Like, getting one of your 2020's Swords to Plowshare, or back then it was like he was playing around Submerge, and then losing the Dark Depth to Surgical, that puts you down to, I think, just 4 copies of Punishing Fire. And those, like, I actually, and you probably did as well, like, have won games against this deck by just taking out Dark Depth and Punishing Fire with surgicals, and won games that I was never supposed to win. So we might actually not see Jarvis go for the token here, but maybe it just has to, because his hand doesn't really do anything else. Like, it looks like he has a lot of stuff, but none of them really does anything.
No. Oh, so Anuraag is actually like respecting. He's gonna see if he can bait Jarvis into actually making a token so he can draw land and snipe it.
Yeah, and Jarvis doesn't know that Anuraag doesn't have the land yet. But yeah, I think he really does what we just talked about. He goes for it, because like, what else is he gonna do with this hand? Yeah. Like, if Anuraag plays a chase on the next turn, you're probably losing anyway. And yeah, Anuraag takes out the Dark Depth, which he probably didn't have to right away, but maybe he just wanted more information.
Oh, he forgot to take the one in the hand here.
Oh! Scalding Tarn. Oh, did he basically remove cards from his own deck to make it more likely to draw the land? Oh, that's cool. Surgical Extractions. Okay. He took out his own Scalding Tarns then, but I don't see any in his exile, which is weird. But that would be like exiling it from his deck would be the main point to do it in the first place. Anyway,
I don't know what just happened. Why did he surgical his own Scalding Tarn?
Well, I guess he did it to make it more likely. But why would you take out a land to make it more likely to draw a land? He knew his top card. He wanted to shuffle.
Okay. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah. So smart. Yeah, I'm just stupid here. I was just completely flustered by what is going on.
Yeah, he had brainstorm before. That makes sense. So he actually managed to draw the land and take out that. So now you can surgical the Dark Depth with Snapcaster Mage, but there's one in the battlefield, so that makes it harder. So you could take out the Thespian Stage then.
So this was what we were talking about in Game 2, that Anuraag actually has ways to deal with whatever Jarvis tries to throw at him.
Yeah. And
the chat goes kind of crazy. Like, I just didn't see him play the brainstorm, so I didn't know that he knew the top card. So it makes 100% sense his play. I'm not saying that it was bad. It was perfect, and he drew the land. I just didn't know that he knew his top card. That was why I was a bit off right there. I'm sorry about that.
Anuraag got a chase at 4, so it's going to be hard for Jarvis to take that one out, especially since he's got like double protection for it. He's just going to tick it up and probably give Jarvis like a lot of bad cards. Like, what is Jarvis looking to draw here? Since Chase is the problem, or maybe he's just going to keep throwing Punishing Fire at Chase until Anuraag runs out of counter spells. Yeah,
I can definitely see that. Like, it's a potential kill condition right now. The thing is, Anuraag has both Spell Snare, Counterspell, and Engineered Explosives. So he's probably going to play Engineered Explosives here and just like take away the exploration. So even though if Jarvis draws into some live draws like Loam, etc., he will only be able to like build up his board very, very slowly with the Jace on the board. The next Loam, though, will potentially make a threat because he's going to get back Thespian Stage and try to go for the token again.
I'm not sure whether I like the Spell Snare to protect the Snapcaster Mage because he's just at 18. I don't know. Like he's basically he's trading the Spell Snare for a bit of damage, which might be good enough. I'm just not sure what he's trying to accomplish there in the long run.
No,
he must have a reason to do that. Maybe he just wants to complicate Jarvis' mana and like give Chase even more time.
Yeah,
but
I think what he's like thinking here is that Jace is gonna spiral off like very soon, and Jarvis is kind of low on mana, so he needs to kill the Snapcaster eventually. Yeah, he can also like just eventually, if Jarvis gets like to where he wants to be, he can minus on the Snapcaster, get it back, and then he can surgical. So that's actually what happened here.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It was with
also like, yeah, he really wanted to stop that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
and eventually Anuraag did exactly that. He got the Snapcaster back, and now Jarvis is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, we actually have like a Mike, which is our like organizer of the whole stream. He was putting in like a note that he could bounce the Snapcaster. So that's a really good point, Mike. And now, like Anuraag has the Snapcaster surgical, so it's gonna get really hard for Jarvis to actually get through both the counter from the Snapcaster and the surgical.
Yeah. What did he get? He's just going for the token again, and now he's forcing Anuraag to have removal for the token.
Yeah.
And it's kind of unfortunate that Anuraag, like, was there? Yeah, there's a Thespian stage in the graveyard, and it's kind of unfortunate that he didn't actively try to remove that. I mean, the downside is if he does that, then Jarvis gets to have Punishing Fire again, which is also problematic. And yeah, Anuraag got one more shot of the Brainstorm, unless he hasn't used Chase yet to find something.
I think some people are now saying the exact same thing as you were saying in the chat. That why didn't he surgical the stage here? Like if he surgicals the stage here, he kind of runs out of gas, and as Julian was saying, then he gets back into having Punishing Fire. So eventually he will deplete Anuraag for all his resources with a single card. So I think being able to shuffle and look through a lot of cards, I think Anuraag thinks that he can actually deal with the Marriage. With the Jace and the cards on the board.
And then it would actually be easier for him to find just like another Swords to Plowshares than to find a way to beat the Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
And also like not using Surgical, like when Jarvis knows that he has Snapcaster and Surgical online, and yet Anuraag is not using that in response to the crop rotation, that's almost like making a statement. That's like, yeah, come at me, make your 2020, I don't care. And like we knew it was kind of a bluff, but Jarvis doesn't know that, and he has to respect that. But I think Jarvis, unfortunately, is so much down on resources here that he simply has to go for it in the turn. So I think we'll see that Jarvis is just gonna go all out and make a token, and then he'll win the game. Can Anuraag gain life here? No, he can't. Like he had a battle skull, but that would be too slow.
But I think he has one additional dick if he casts the Snapcaster and the Brainstorm. So people would probably say that this is like kind of a mistake from Anuraag, but it is a calculated risk that he thinks that he can deal with Jarvis through actually getting a counter for the Marillage token. So I would not say that it's a misplay. It's more a line that didn't work out, and I think that's a hard line to always walk. Because if he would have gotten like a way to deal with this card, then it would have been like an insane play. It is a bit risky though, and sometimes you take risks.
Like you mentioned, imagine he actually finds the Swords to Plowshares here. Now look at the board. Like, Jarvis would like attack and gain 20 life, but he wouldn't have access to Punishing Fire anymore, and that would make it really hard for him to win the game. While Anuraag has a Chase that will eventually just take over. So I really actually kind of like Anuraag's decision, because you always have to look at, like you mentioned, at the other way this game could go. And if things work out for Anuraag and he just finds the removal spell, like the Swords to Plowshares, then the game, I wouldn't call the game over, but it's heavily in Anuraag's favor then.
Yes, but actually Anuraag does a really nice play here. He uses the surgical extraction, and he's really a cowboy with the surgical extraction because he gets to look at additional three cards from his Snapcaster here. So let's see if he can get the Sword to Plowshares.
Did Anuraag actually use all the surgical extractions he casted this game on himself?
Yeah.
Like
the classic.
Yeah,
so there's an additional brainstorm.
There's one more brainstorm. He's going to see one more card.
So let's go.
Anuraag,
one time.
Let's do your best. Come on. Are you going to give us one more game? And we see Punishing Fire. Stoneforge.
Come on. I'm so excited. Oh, poor Anuraag. Okay, so yeah, I think he did some. He had a nice, what's it called, decision tree, and he did some really nice plays with the brainstorms or with the surgical extractions. I was impressed by the plays, and it was a fun match, even though game one was kind of brutal, but it was still closer to a match than what we anticipated.
Yeah, it's very much like in the first game, Anuraag actually stood a chance, which was way more than I expected. Yeah. And if you get into a matchup where like you almost like assume you always lose the first game, and then like I think calling it 50-50 in the second game is maybe even too much, but let's assume it's 50-50, then you're only like 25% to win the entire match, and that's already bad enough. And like given those odds, Anuraag put a great fight there.
Yeah. So it was nice doing commentary with you, Julian, and thanks to you and Mike that you're doing all of this. But I'm gonna say bye to all the viewers. It's been a pleasure to interact with you through the chat and to see that you're doing you're writing in the chat. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to tune in. And thank you, Julian. And
thanks for being on the show, Mike. See you in Vegas.
Yeah, see you guys.
Bye bye.